Welcome to our Trump Briefing Show, where today's news is packed with drama and big moves. First up, a major legal twist as an appeals court in Washington, D.C., has overturned a plea deal for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged mastermind behind the September 11 attacks. The deal would have allowed him to plead guilty and serve life in prison without parole, but the court sided with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin's authority to block it, citing the seriousness of the attacks. This keeps the legal battle alive and kicking. Next, tensions are rising between the US and Canada over trade. Business leaders are voicing concerns about President Trump's proposed 35% tariff on Canadian goods, which could seriously shake up the economic relationship. Experts warn that these tariffs could cause uncertainty and harm vital trade ties. Canadian officials are calling for genuine negotiations and stability, but the threat remains a hot topic in international commerce. Finally, in the world of tech and international intrigue, French authorities are investigating Elon Musk's X platform for alleged data tampering and fraud. The probe was sparked by concerns over possible foreign interference and misuse of algorithms. Meanwhile, in the Red Sea, a ship sank after an attack by Yemen's Houthi rebels, resulting in presumed deaths and missing crew members. The region's maritime security is more fragile than ever, with ongoing conflicts and threats. Please continue to watch for more updates. The Washington Post reports that a significant setback has occurred in the pursuit of justice for the September 11 attacks, as a divided federal appeals court has dismissed a plea agreement for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, the alleged mastermind behind the 2001 terrorist assaults. The deal, which would have granted Mohammed a life sentence without parole in exchange for his guilty plea and full disclosure to victims' families, was approved by military prosecutors and the Pentagon but was later repudiated by then Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin. The court's ruling affirms Austin's authority to reject the deal, emphasizing the importance of the death penalty in such grave cases, and underscores the ongoing legal and logistical complexities that have prolonged the military prosecution for over 2 decades. This decision signals that the quest for justice in one of the deadliest attacks on U.S. soil remains unresolved, with the long and arduous path to accountability continuing. According to the Toronto Star, U.S.-Canada trade relations are strained as President Donald Trump threatens to impose a 35% tariff on Canadian goods, igniting fears among business leaders and analysts about the economic fallout. While the tariff might only affect non-CUSMA-compliant goods, experts warn that even a limited application could impose a meaningful burden on Canadian exports, exacerbating global trade uncertainties. Canadian business organizations, including the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and the Toronto Region Board of Trade, have voiced their frustration, emphasizing that such threats undermine the historically robust trade relationship between the two nations. They urge the US and Canada to negotiate a fair and reliable trade deal, but the looming tariffs cast a shadow over economic stability and cross-border cooperation, highlighting the fragility of international trade amid unpredictable US trade policies. The Independent reports on the bipartisan momentum in the US Senate to pass a new sanctions bill aimed at Russia, driven by the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. Senators from both parties, including Republicans and Democrats, are rallying behind legislation drafted by Senators Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal, which would impose severe sanctions on Russia, including a potential 500% tariff increase on Russian imports. However, the bill's progress is stalled due to President Trump's desire for significant amendments that would grant him more control over sanctions management. While many Republicans support swift passage, Democrats criticize Trump's interference, accusing him of delaying the measure to serve political interests. The legislation's future hinges on Trump's willingness to back the bill, with some senators questioning whether political considerations or strategic concerns are impeding its advancement. The bill's passage could mark a decisive step in U.S. efforts to pressure Russia amid the ongoing Ukraine conflict, but political disagreements threaten to delay its implementation. The Associated Press reports that French prosecutors have initiated an investigation into Elon Musk's social media platform, X, over allegations of data tampering and organized fraud. The probe focuses on 2 main accusations: the manipulation of an automated data processing system and the illicit extraction of data from it. The investigation was prompted by information from 2 sources, including a member of parliament and a senior government official, who claimed that X's algorithms may have been used for foreign interference. While details remain scarce, authorities are scrutinizing both the platform and individuals involved, signaling serious concerns over potential misuse of user data and algorithmic manipulation. Meanwhile, the EU's Operation Aspides revealed a tragic maritime incident involving Yemen's Houthi rebels, who sank the Greek-owned cargo ship Eternity Sea in the Red Sea after an attack that resulted in presumed deaths of 4 crew members and left 11 others missing. The attack, which occurred amidst ongoing conflicts in the region, marks the deadliest assault on ships in this vital trade route, where over $1 trillion worth of cargo pass annually. The Houthis, citing support for Palestinians amid the Israel-Hamas conflict, have targeted multiple vessels, including the sinking of another ship, Magic Seas. The incident underscores the perilous security situation in the region, with international forces warning nearby vessels to remain vigilant as the rebels continue their aggressive tactics, including kidnapping and attacking maritime traffic. In the United States, J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon voiced cautious approval of President Donald Trump's decision to delay implementing tariffs, describing the move as the right choice amid a pattern of Trump backing down from trade threats. Dimon, however, warned that market complacency could be dangerous, as Trump's tendency to threaten and then retreat from tariffs, coined as the taco trade, may not persist indefinitely. Trump's recent announcement of impending tariffs on imports from various countries, including Japan and South Korea, has reignited fears of a trade war, with the president emphasizing a push to reduce long-standing trade deficits. Despite claims that tariffs are paid by foreign governments, economists clarify these costs are passed on to consumers, and the political landscape remains tense as negotiations and threats continue to shape global economic relations. Nikkei Asia reports a promising outlook for diplomatic engagement between the United States and China, highlighting Secretary of State Marco Rubio's recent in-person meeting with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi in Kuala Lumpur. Rubio expressed optimism about a potential summit between President Donald Trump and President Xi Jinping, emphasizing that both nations are eager to foster dialogue and stabilize their relationship for global benefit. The officials discussed areas of cooperation amid ongoing tensions, including regional issues like Taiwan and Ukraine, with Rubio urging China to cease military intimidation and support for Russia, while Wang called for rational, pragmatic policies aimed at peaceful coexistence. Their dialogue, although delayed compared to previous administrations, signifies a mutual interest in maintaining communication channels and managing differences through diplomacy, especially in light of regional conflicts and global security concerns. Meanwhile, the Toronto Star details the U.S. State Department's significant reorganization, which involves laying off over 1,300 staff members as part of a broader effort to streamline its operations. This mass reduction, part of the Trump administration's plan, aims to cut the department's workforce by approximately 15%, consolidating offices and shifting focus towards more region-specific diplomatic efforts. Critics argue that these cuts could weaken U.S. diplomatic capabilities, raising concerns about national security and the department's ability to effectively serve American interests. The department is also merging functions, such as integrating the former U.S. Agency for International Development into the State Department, amidst a contentious political backdrop, with many staff and lawmakers voicing fears over the potential impacts on diplomacy and global engagement. Lastly, the Toronto Star reports on President Donald Trump's claims that the U.S. is selling weapons to NATO allies, who then transfer them to Ukraine to bolster its defenses against Russia's renewed missile and drone assaults. Trump asserts that NATO is fully financing these weapons, streamlining aid delivery amid escalating conflict. Rubio elaborates that U.S.-made weapons are already deployed with European NATO members, who are expected to provide replacements, especially for critical systems like Patriot missile batteries. The ongoing intense Russian attacks, including drone strikes on Kharkiv and Odessa, underscore Ukraine's urgent need for advanced defense systems. Zelensky underscores the importance of quick Western support, particularly interceptor drones, to counter Moscow's relentless assault, emphasizing that swift and substantial aid is crucial for Ukraine's resilience in this protracted war. The Toronto Star reports that Prime Minister Mark Carney has vowed that Canada will steadfastly defend its workers and businesses in response to escalating trade threats from U.S. President Donald Trump, who has set a new deadline of August 1 to conclude trade negotiations, threatening to impose a 35% tariff on Canadian goods if the talks falter. Trump's threats include tariffs on Canadian goods, criticism of Canada's supply management in dairy, and claims that the U.S. trade deficit with Canada threatens national security, largely fueled by American imports of Canadian oil at below-market prices. Meanwhile, U.S. border seizures of fentanyl, while slightly increased, remain a fraction of the total seized at the U.S.-Mexico border. Canadian officials, including the Canadian Chamber of Commerce and opposition leaders, have condemned Trump's tactics as extortion, emphasizing the importance of ongoing negotiations and collective strength. Critics warn that these tariffs and threats could harm the deeply integrated trade relationship, increase prices for Americans, and impose environmental and economic costs, especially with additional tariffs on steel, aluminum, automobiles, and copper looming on August 1. The political landscape remains tense, with opposition leaders accusing the government of failing to protect Canada's interests and advocating for increased trade ties with the European Union as an alternative. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Trees die, I